Hello and a very warm welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I want to give you 10 reasons why I think the Panama City real estate market is definitely worth an investment. So let's get straight down to it. Number one, Panama is in a very strategic location between North and South America. And the Panama Canal itself connects the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. And this is very, very important for the shipping trade. I think this is one of the greatest actually engineering achievements in history. Number two, also very important, I want to talk about the infrastructure. Now, Panama is considered the best in Central America for this. So it's got excellent roads, reliable electricity supply, good internet coverage as well, excellent schools and hospitals. And it is Panama City is actually the only city in Central America that has a metro system. In fact, it's actually got 2 metro lines and a third is planned as well. And also, it's actually the hub for international travel in Central America. So the Tucumán Airport has flights to North, South America, the Caribbean, and Europe as well. And in actual fact, there's one terminal, but they're planning on building a second one as well. I also want to say that Panama City does not suffer from natural disasters like earthquake, hurricanes or floods, unlike, for example, Florida. Number 3, I want to talk about the business environment. So the Colon Free Trade Zone in Panama is actually the second largest in the world, and Panama itself has the most direct foreign investment of any Central American country. So it has become actually Panama a key player in the global trade, banking and shipping. And this is in no small part due to the tax perks and easy visa options for employees. And it has really enabled more than 150 multinationals to have a regional base. Let me give you some names of multinational companies like Nestle, Adidas, Dell, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Pfizer and Total, just to name but a few. Number 4, and this is very, very important for the housing market, is the population growth. Now, back in 2010, the population of Panama was 3.6 million. In 2019, this had risen to 4.2 million. But more importantly, by 2050, this is projected to grow to nearly 6 million. Very, very important for the housing market. And around half, actually over half of the population is predicted to be in Panama City. So this augurs well for the future of the real estate market in Panama City. Just want to add a couple of things as well. The median age in Panama is only 29. Number 5, I want to talk about the lack of land in Panama City. So Panama City has a shortage of prime land to develop on. And on one side as well of Panama City, you've got the Pacific Ocean. On another side of it, you have protected land and the Panama Canal. So there's very, very limited scope for building on a lot more land. And this is bound to put pressure on house prices in the future and keep them high. And I think higher in the future. Number 6, I want to talk about the economic performance. So the economic performance in Panama over the last 10 years has been absolutely tremendous. So before COVID-19, it grew by more than 3% every year from 2010 to 2019. I just want to take some amazing years. In 2011, it grew by 11.3%. In 2012, by 9.8%. By 2013, 6.9%. And in 2017, by 5.6%. And if you don't believe me, just check out the World Bank site and it will give you these figures. Also, what's good is that the government debt to GDP ratio is only, in 2019 was only 41%. Of course, this has, I'm sure, gone up in line with many other countries around the world, but I'm sure you'll agree with me, 41% in 2019, that's pretty low. Number 7 now, let's come straight to the housing market. So the buy-sell costs are quite low. So the buyer will pay the legal and registration fees, and often these are under 3%, and the seller will pay the realtor fee or estate agent fee, normally around 5%, a transfer tax of 2%. So allow about 10% for buy and sell costs. Now that's pretty low compared to most countries around the world. Number 8, I want to talk about the right of foreigners to buy. So in general, there are no restrictions on foreign ownership, except if you want to buy property or land 10 kilometers away from a border or on certain islands which are under the jurisdiction of Panama. But in general, there are no real restrictions. Number 9, I want to talk about the low prices and the good yields. So in the city center of Panama City, expect to pay around, on average, $2,500 per square meter. Now that's very, very low compared to most countries. And the yields are not too bad either. Expect gross yields of between 5 and 7%. Not bad compared to Western European countries and cities, for example, like London, Paris, etc. Number 10, I want to talk about taxes. Now, it is a myth that there are no taxes in Panama. You often get that in many newspapers around Western Europe, that Panama is a tax haven and there are no taxes. There are taxes, but they are low. So VAT is only 7%. If you're based in Panama and any income you get from Panama, that's the only taxation that the Panamanian government will tax. They will not look at your foreign income. Also in Panama, there's no inheritance tax, which is very good. And if we look at rental income tax, between $0 and $11,000, you'll pay 0%. Between $11,000 and $50,000, you'll pay 15%. And between above $50,000, you'll pay 25%. Now, capital gains tax on selling of property is 10%. And as far as property tax is concerned, if you buy in a building that was constructed before 2011, you'll pay no property tax for 20 years. Now, let's just get that straight. So if you buy now, the period 2011 and 2020, from 2011 to 2031, you would have paid no property tax. So if you buy now, you'll have no property tax for 10 years. Now, if you buy, let's say, in a new building in most parts of Panama City, the property taxes are as following. So from $0 to $30,000 on that portion of the value of what you paid for the property, you'll pay 0%. On $30,000, between $30,000 and $250,000, you'll pay 0.6%. Between $250,000 and $500,000, you'll pay 0.8%. And above $500,000, you'll pay 1%. So there are taxes in Panama. It's not a complete tax haven, but they are pretty low when compared to most countries around the world. So where should you invest in Panama City? Well, in Casco Viejo, actually, in the old town, which is possibly the most desirable place to invest, and where you'll pay around $2,500 to $3,000 per square meter, or actually you might pay more than that for a new place. But there are some excellent tax incentives here. So if you buy something old in the Casco Viejo, the old town, and you develop it, for 30 years, you'll have no property taxes. For 10 years, you'll have no rental income tax to pay. And for the first 5 years, if you sell, there'll be no CGT to pay, capital gains tax to pay. And this, I think, is a very good incentive to invest in the old town. But I think this is actually the most expensive part to buy property normally. But also, if you do come to sell the property, whoever buys that also benefits from that no tax for 30 years. So when you, let's say no property tax for 30 years. So it will have a very, very high value if you develop it. And 50% of the area has been developed, and there's 50% still to develop. So if you're up for a renovation opportunity, that may be the one to go for. But there are also other great areas. So if you invest in the very center and El Cangrejo, in the center, expect to pay around $2,500 per square meter. But there you've got all a lot of cafes, restaurants, bars, metro stations. It's an excellent place to live downtown. And if you don't go for that, there's also San Francisco as well, and it's very, very, very central too, but more residential. Again, expect to pay between 2,000 and 2,500 US dollars per square meter. And if you don't go for there, I mean, I think anywhere you invest in Panama City in the central part, you'll do well. You could invest in Avenida Balboa, which is a very, very nice part, and the Punto Pacifica. Again, here expect to pay around 2,500 US dollars per square meter. So I've given you a number of reasons to invest. I just want to give you one or two downsides. So unemployment in Panama, unfortunately, between 2015 and 2019 has always been above 5%. And obviously with COVID-19, I'm sure this has actually gone up. And also the salaries in Panama, the average monthly salary is not particularly high. So we're talking under 1,000 US dollars per month. And Panama is a US dollar denominated currency. And I think the US dollar potentially could go down. But other than that, I really do believe that Panama City is an investment opportunity. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Please do comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in the next video. Thanks and bye for today.